Hi everyone and welcome to Germany for Student channel. Today is 38th lesson of A1 level of German language course, and today we are going to talk about adjective ending in dative case. What are adjectives? Adjectives are those words which describe the property of something or someone, like something is big, something is small, something is beautiful, etc. And the use of adjective in German language depends on two things. First thing is the gender of noun for which the adjective is being used. The second thing is in which case we are going to use this adjective. So we are going to use this adjective in dative case, therefore one thing is logged. So second thing is that we have to see what is the gender of noun, and based on the gender of noun like masculine, feminine, neuter and plural noun, the adjective ending will differ from the previous cases like accusative. So let's check the adjective ending for a masculine noun first. I have taken a masculine noun man, and I have taken adjective net. Net means nice. N-A-T-T, net means nice. But if we want to use this adjective or any other adjective for a masculine noun in dative case, we have to add an an at the end of the adjective. This is what we have done here. We know that the definite article for a masculine noun in dative is dame, and if we want to use the nice man, then we have to use an at the end of adjective or any other adjective that we are going to use for a masculine noun. Here I have taken the example of man. Here can be any other masculine noun. Now the next is for feminine noun. Here I have taken the example of Frau as a feminine noun, and as an adjective I have kept the same adjective net, which means nice. We know that the definite article for a feminine noun in dative case is der, so der netten Frau, the nice lady. Next is the example of neuter noun. For neuter noun I have taken the example of kind, which means child, and the adjective is same, and we know that the definite article for a neuter noun in dative case is dame, so dame netten kind, the nice child. If we are going to use a plural noun and we have to use any adjective for a plural noun, then the definite article will be dame, and if we keep the adjective net, then we have to add an an at the end of the adjective, and we have to add an n at the end of plural noun if it does not have any adjective n already at the end. So this is how we have to use the adjective for a definite article. If we have indefinite article in our sentence, or if we want to use indefinite article for a masculine noun in dative case, let's see how we have to use the adjective ending. The adjective again is net, and you can see that we have to use the same adjective ending that we have done for definite article, that we have to add an an at the end of adjective if we are going to use an indefinite article for a masculine noun. Then we have to see for the feminine noun, and in feminine noun we know that the indefinite article is einer for a feminine noun in dative case, and if we keep the adjective same as above, then we have to add an an again at the end of adjective for a feminine noun. And if we have a neuter noun, then we have to use indefinite article einem, and if we want to use net as an adjective, we have to add an an at the end of adjective. So you can see that whether you use definite article or indefinite article for masculine, feminine, neuter and plural noun, you have to add an at the end of adjective. So it is making our life very much easier that we have to use an at the end of adjective whenever we use adjective in dative case after definite or indefinite article. So let's go through the examples, and we will revise a lot of our concepts that we have already learned regarding dative, accusative and even nominative, because I have designed the examples in such a way that it will not only give us an opportunity to practice what we are learning right now, the adjective ending in dative case, but also what we have already learned in the previous lesson. So let's start with the first example. Lisa schenkt dem kleinen Kind einen Luftballon. So this sentence means Lisa gives an air balloon to a small child. Now in this sentence, who is giving what to whom? So who is giving is Lisa, and we know that who is the nominative case, who is the subject of the sentence, what is being given is the accusative case, and to whom it is being given or for whom the action is being performed. The action is being performed for a small child, and for whom the action is being performed is in the dative case. Therefore we have to use the dative rules for that part of the sentence. So Lisa schenkt, schenken is a German verb which means to give or to gift, and it is conjugated according to the subject. Subject is Lisa, so for Lisa schenken will become schenked. Next is the dative part of the sentence, because we are performing an action, or Lisa is giving something to someone, and that someone is a small child. Therefore this part of the sentence is the dative part, and here we are using an adjective which is klein. Klein means small, and here that someone is kind or child, and we are using one adjective for this child. Therefore we have to use the adjective ending for dative, and we know that for a neuter noun the definite article is dem, and if we want to use adjective, then we have to add an an at the end of adjective. Adjective here is klein, which means small, but because it is being used in the dative case, therefore we have to add an an at the end of adjective. Now what is being given is always in the accusative case, and accusative case we will see that what is the gender of this noun. This is a Luftballon. Luftballon is a masculine noun, which means that we have to use the indefinite article for accusative case for a masculine noun, and for masculine noun the accusative indefinite article is einen. Therefore we have used einen Luftballon. Now let's move to the next example, which is wir helfen der freundlichen Nachbarin bei der Gartenarbeit. Now what does it mean? It means we help the friendly neighbor with the garden work. Now in this sentence we are using wir as a subject of the sentence, and it is at the first position, subject, and at the second position we have a verb helfen, and we know that helfen is a dative verb, which means that the object of this dative verb will be in the dative case. Now what is the object of this dative verb? Der freundlichen Nachbarin. Now Nachbarin is a feminine noun because we are using en at the end, which means that the neighbor we are talking about is a female, and because this is a dative verb and this is the object of dative verb, therefore this part of the sentence we have to apply the rules of dative, and which means that we have to see what is the gender of this noun. This is a feminine noun, therefore we have to use the definite article for a feminine noun, which is der, and then we have used an adjective which is freundlich. Freundlich means friendly, and we know that in case of dative we have to use an an at the end of adjective, what we have done here. So on this part of the sentence we have applied the rule of dative because we are using a dative verb here, and this is the object of this dative verb. Now if we look at the next part of the sentence, here we are again using a dative prepositions. So by is a dative preposition, and in this case, since by is a dative preposition, therefore the next part of the sentence will always be treated like dative, and it means that what is the gender of Gartenarbeit? Gartenarbeit is a feminine noun. Therefore, the article for a feminine noun in dative case will be der, and this is here. Therefore, we will use the der Gartenarbeit. So this is a kind of sentence where we have used dative case twice, because first we had a dative verb and second we have a dative preposition. Now let's move to the next example. Er gibt dem hungrigen Baby ein Brot. He gives a bread to the hungry baby. Now in this sentence, if you compare this sentence with this first example, then they are exactly the same as far as the structure of sentence is concerned, but we are using different subject, object and indirect object. Here we are using er, who is giving what to whom. Now he is giving, so er is the nominative case of the sentence. What he is giving? A bread, ein Brot. What will always be in accusative? And to whom he is giving? To a hungry baby. Therefore, to whom he is giving is in the dative case. Therefore, we will apply the rule of dative on this part of the sentence. So, baby is a neuter noun, and we know that the neuter noun definite article is dem. Therefore, we have used dem here. And hungrig is a adjective which means hungry, and since this adjective is being used in the dative case, therefore we have to add an an at the end of adjective like we have learned over here. And what he is giving? He is giving ein Brot, and ein Brot is in the accusative case, and in accusative case the neuter noun indefinite article is ein. Therefore we have used ein as an indefinite article for a neuter noun in this example. Now let's move to the next example. Ich bin zufrieden mit dem alten Auto. I am satisfied with the old car. Now in this sentence I am using a preposition mit, which is a dative preposition. Therefore the next part of the sentence will be in the dative case, and in the next part of the sentence I am using a neuter noun which is auto. Therefore I know that I have to use the dem as definite article. This is what is written over here, and I am using an adjective alt, which means old, and because this part of the sentence in which the adjective is being used is in dative case, therefore I have to add an an at the end of adjective. This is what I have done here and we have learned over here. Next example, das große Haus gehört dem reichen Mann. That big house belongs to the rich man. Now, das große Haus, this is one part or one unit which is coming at the first position in the sentence. At the next or at the second position, we are using a verb called gehören, which means the belongs to. And if we conjugate gehören with respect to das große Haus, which is the subject of the sentence, it will become gehört. Now, because this is the subject of the sentence, therefore we have to use the rules of nominative on it, because we know that subject of sentence is always the nominative case. And here we have this noun house, which is a neuter noun, and we know that the neuter noun definite article for a nominative case is das. And here we are using again an adjective, but this adjective is in the nominative case because this is used for a noun which is in the nominative case. Therefore, we will take the adjective ending for a nominative case in for this neuter noun house, and the adjective ending for a nominative case is that we have to add an a at the end of adjective. So this is what we have done on this part of the sentence. Then comes the dative verb gehören. Gehören is a dative verb, therefore the object of this dative verb will be in the dative case. Now in this part of the sentence, or this object of the sentence, we have one noun man, which is, we know that it is a masculine noun, and we have to use definite dative article, which is dem. And since this part of sentence is also using one adjective, which is reich, reich means rich, and since this part of sentence is being used in the dative case, therefore we have to add an an at the end of this adjective, which is reichen. So let's move to the next example. Sie ist mit einem intelligenten Mann verheiratet. She is married with an intelligent man. Now in this sentence, again I am using a dative preposition. Therefore the part of sentence after this dative preposition will be in the dative case, which means this part. And in this part I have again one noun, which is man, which is masculine noun, and we have to see what is the indefinite article for a dative masculine noun, which is einem. This is what we have learned over here, and what we have learned again here is, if we want to use an adjective for a masculine noun in dative case where we are using indefinite article, then we have to use an at the end of adjective. Here we are using intelligent as an adjective, and we have to add an at the end of this adjective. Next is Paul hat ein Zimmer bei einer netten Familie gefunden. Paul found a room with a nice family. So Paul was searching for a room and he found a room with a nice family. Now in this case we are again using dative preposition, which is by. Therefore we have to apply the rule of dative on the next part of the sentence, which is einer netten Familie, or a nice family. Family is a feminine noun. Therefore the indefinite article for a feminine noun is einer. We have used here, and we know that if we want to use an adjective for a feminine noun in dative case, then we have to add an an at the end of adjective. This is what we have done here. So this part of sentence is already written over here, and here we can have any feminine noun. And this is an example of perfect tense, and in perfect tense we know that the main verb goes at the end position or the last position in participe zwei form or in the perfect form, and at the second position we have to select between haben and sein, and whatever is selected has to be conjugated with respect to the subject of sentence, and subject of sentence in our case is Paul, and if we conjugate haben with respect to Paul, it will become hat. So this is how you have to learn the adjective endings in dative case. I hope it is clear to you now. We have done a lot of examples. You can simply practice it further by changing here. For example, you can put baby here as a noun, and you can see that how the situation is being changed. Here you can give some other noun like yake, and in this case you will see that the indefinite and definite article will change because the noun is changed, but you have to keep the structure same, because only then it will be treated as a dative part of the sentence. So if you have any question, put it in the comments, and see you in the next video. Bye.